Hi, welcome back to Fantasy Crafts. I am still Jen. Do you have Halloween decorations that I had for centuries and you're dreading to get rid of and do the same thing next year? And you have an empty wreath? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how to spice up that wreath and how to use these dreadful Halloween decorations. First, you're going to need a wreath. You can add butterflies if you like, doesn't matter. You can add anything to this, except the kitchen sink. That'd be kind of weird. Anyways, you're going to start out with this wreath. It doesn't matter the size. You can do small, medium, large, or even extra large. Depends if you're that crazy. So, I would recommend starting off with the leaves, since this is going to be considered our base. If I don't get hit with a spider. I happen to have these years ago, so I've been just I kind of just wanted to get rid of them, so I figured why not do a wreath. This is a great craft. Again, don't recommend it for kids, but again, you can have them pick out the flowers when you go out. They can even add their own flair if they want. So we're going to stick the leaves to the wreath. There's no exact order to this. Just make sure it's covering the whole entire area. I've seen people do winterly wreaths. What did summer? You can do anything with this. You can even leave this alone and just paint it and just put glitter on it for the holidays. I'm saying there's a lot of tutorials out there. This happened to be just an idea that I came across when I was looking around at my lair. You can spread these out if you like. Again, that's hot glue. You can do whatever you want with it. You want to make it look like an actual vine, because this is technically made of grapevines. If there's too much of the moisture, I would just wipe it down before you do anything, because moisture plays a big role with hot glue. It just wouldn't stick on there properly. I found out that the hard way when I was really young. This is when I was a freshman in high school when I found this out. Feel free to lift the vine. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference in what you do with it. It's not going to fall apart if you lift a tiny twig. Don't worry about that. if it does happen to fall apart, I would recommend gluing it back together or try to weave it back in. Or yeah, you can easily just toss it out. That's another option. You can always, well, you can always cut it and cut that strand and try to reweave the excess. So while I'm doing this, we're going to be doing something slightly different when the Halloween season starts coming up. I'm going to be doing a lot more fun Halloween themed projects, so stay tuned for that. Then for Halloween, I might even have some special guests that's going to be joining this horror party. Don't worry, they're not people. They're not going to be people. There's a couple of friends from my lair. This is what it should look like if you have similar Halloween stuff as I do. Just keep continuing going around in a circle and until you run out of leaves. If you have extra, feel free to do a second layer, because wreaths are really about layers upon layers and upon layers. Next week we're going to be doing more bizarre Halloween crafts, since it is 'tis the season. And we are going to do a Halloween countdown. I'm going to be bringing in a whiteboard, counting down the days until Halloween. Halloween is one of my favorite seasons because of the movies and Halloween specials and baking championships. It gives you all these crazy ideas to do crazy projects like this. Hey, the crazier the better sometimes. If it's not crazy, it wouldn't be as fun as this is. Again, the crazier the better. As I'm doing this, you can tell that I did like a close look and now I spread it out so it will look more natural. And always keep track on where you leave glue, because you don't want to accidentally burn yourself. And now I'm starting to close my leaves a little bit, because we're starting to go back to where we started. I always been a Halloween person. Since I was younger, I used to love to dress up. I am going to be dressing up on a Halloween special. But it's going to be a surprise. I'm not telling you guys. Too early. Just depending on let's just say if I am doing something totally different this year, which is out of my element. And we're just going to say that. As we're finishing off, again, I have this final leaf. This is why it's important to mark or keep track of your hockaloo spots, because it's very important. You don't want to burn yourself by accident. Now you have your base. We're going to start doing feathers. I am doing peacock feathers since they have this really cool monochromatic sheen. You can cut these, you can leave it as it is, but I recommend cutting them because they're kind of long for this particular size. So I would like to weave it like where the leaves are, like so. It's almost like going in a circle, but kind of not, but kind of is, but it's also not. We're not going to put a lot of feathers on here because that will kind of ruin the spectrum of color that we're trying to go for. Also, in my next episode, I'm going to be explaining why color is so important to every project that I'm doing. Like for here, since it is Halloween, I'm doing purple, black. I'm doing purple and black and little hints of blue and green. If you do like another color, you're not going to really get the sense of Halloween. Unless you put creatures of the night or fake body parts. Again, you can get that at a craft store. Now we rotate. I'll make sure these feathers are straightened out before you do anything, because they're more likely to fall apart on you, more than likely. But Just what I learned from past experiences. Then heading towards maybe mid-October, I'm going to be showing you really cool hacks for last-minute Halloween costumes. Because there were times when I couldn't figure out what I want to be for Halloween, so I just threw a few things together and kind of went with it. Again, you don't need to go all the way to the store, or Halloween store for that matter, just to buy a $30-something costume and don't wear it the next year. Well, you can spend under that amount with really small hacks that could last for years. That will last for years. Hey, I went as a witch for 4 years, and that was one of my favorite costumes. Then I was a dragon 1 year. But we don't get into details. Okay, you got your feathers down. Now for the flowers. Again, know your flowers, know your color. It's very important. Over here, I'm going for like the Widow or the Little Shop of Horrors, like I said in my previous episode. So, yeah. I will start with whatever bigger flowers that you have. I happen to have these. These are easy to pop off. Just clip the end and just start going to town. If you need to rotate it at any means, feel free. You don't need to stay at one spot. You have to rotate it, definitely with this project, because since it is a circle, circles can be complicated in the art world. Especially straight lines too. You can overlap it with the feather if you like. It doesn't matter. Just so long you're getting the idea. If you need to like switch colors up for any means, white is also kind of a good Halloween color. especially bone white, like this. Okay. Sometimes even pastels are good Halloween colors. Just depending on exactly what you're doing. It just really depends on what you're doing. I believe any color can be gothic or Halloweeny if you want. I honestly believe in that. It's just really just depends on what you're doing that particular time. If you want to make this all year, just don't add anything. Just don't add anything that is Halloweeny, like I don't know, pumpkins, non-fall relics. If you want to keep it for all year purpose. Like I'm doing is variety, because I can use this all year, because I do want to use this for all year use. Anyways, back to the project. I'm kind of doing like checkerboard look, because I feel like it gives a nice balance, like so. After, once we get the flowers down, we can add our little creatures and our smaller flowers, and we should be done. My favorite type of flower is, I have to say, between orchids and roses. Roses because I don't know. They just, I guess they are elegant and they're all year round, and so is orchids. They have a wild pattern to it. It's almost like none of them are the same, but they are the same type of flower. Or I should say same species of flower. Now, it's okay if you run out. Then that means we're going to do half. Like we're going to do spiders on this side and your little monsters of the night in the other corner. Well, let me finish with these type of flowers. If you even want to put butterflies, if you want, by all means. But I don't think I'm going to be using them. Since it is Halloween. Also, insects are also very important. If you're going to put butterflies on Halloween, make sure they're moths or a different color or something like that on that idea. If you're using spiders, then yeah, definitely Halloween. You could do, I suppose you can do all your use too, just depending on the spider, I guess. Like this is, well, Halloween and yeah. Next, we're finally adding our little shop horror characters. And now the tongue twister. I get a lot of crazy ideas and inspiration from movies usually, especially this time of year. Sometimes I need to lay off the movie. That's how many ideas I can come up with. Don't worry about the other flowers because they're dry. Hot glue tends to dry fast. That's why I usually tend to work faster than normal. How do I get into this horror scene? Well, I think it's because of the dragons, and I'm always into, and I am very fascinated with witches and the paranormal, so that's kind of how I got into all this stuff. Especially when all the cool Halloween decorations are out. It's always that fun time of the year. Now you have your creatures. I would recommend start working on the blue. I think the blue will give a nice offset or like accent to the feathers because there is a little bit of a sheen going on with the blue. So you're gonna need about this type of flower. And start gluing the town, as we say in the art world. You gotta always make sure your specimens are furry. Even if you wanna do this type of flower for other reasons. And or just to alternate. Feel free to do that too. I feel like sometimes it's good to alternate between different flowers. It just gives more of a character. It gives it more character, I would think. Always make sure you restock on hot glue. They're kind of important to this project. I mean, kind of, I mean, really. You can even triple up the smaller ones if you like. Just adding a different one. Then again, after we're gonna add our spiders, and I'm gonna show you a neat little trick on what to do if you don't have any spider webs. If you don't have any of those spider webs, there's a alternative. But if you do have spider webs, great. If you don't, there's an alternative. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing these videos. Yeah. Well, this is a good example of my case. You can just cut it off. It's best to do that, then it's better off to do. And look at that. So you know it, we're back at the beginning. Now, our spiders, or better yet, our trick. You're gonna need some polyfill. Yeah, I said it, polyfill. You might want to stretch it out before use. This is gonna act like our spider web. You can get this anywhere. They even sell it at Walmart. I would maybe add maybe a little bit just to give it that nice creepy feel. Just add maybe a strand at a time. Especially hawkaloo strings are definitely spiderweb worthy too. That looks kind of cool. Maybe add a strand or two more than we're going to do our spiders. Just to make sure it's not too overkill. Just enough saying, hey, this looks like a spider web. Now, the fun part, our freaky little friends. You wanna, if they are wire, they do come in a variety of textures. Like this happens to be a wire texture. Wire cutters are the way to go. In this case, always the way to go. Add our friend there. So the next few episodes, we're going to be doing Halloween projects. Stay tuned for that. And be here for the Halloween special that I'm planning on doing. I'm dressing up, so I don't know what you guys are doing. You don't want to add too much. I'll say that will be a fair amount. And here you go, guys. Got your Halloween themed wreath ready to go for this year season. Have a great night, and have a great night, and I'll see you all next time on Fantasy Crafts. Good night.